Can I quote you? Can I quote you really fast?
Yeah, please.
I think you said something like you see the girls, like you see all the naughty stuff that they're doing, like
They're bad girls.
they're bad girls. And I just feel like that's not fair. You might be talking about the girls that are just coming in there and you see the way people interact, but like
there's two things I think happening. There's the girls that I see in there all the time who are people that don't really have responsibilities, so they spend most of their time in nightlife. And then there's the girl who you don't see often, who is like the 9-to-5er, who's just coming out to let loose, and Monday through Friday she's been at the office working hard, not drinking anything, and then on Saturday night she has 4 vodka sodas and then 1 shot of tequila puts her over the edge, and now she's blacked out sucking some dude's dick in the bathroom, while she's got a man at home, and it's just it's a little scary sometimes.
But see, that's the girl who doesn't drink all the time.
Well, all right. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin. That's what I love about the human soul.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah?
As ready as I'm ever going to be.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, episode 77.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We have a special guest. The most fun bartender in Houston, event thrower extravaganza. That's not the word I wanted, but it'll work. And just a nice woman, a nice young woman, one of my faves.
Nice. And
I'm glad that you showed up, because most girls don't show up. You did flake the first time though.
For a good reason, but
yeah, we got CRYSTA here. And I know you decently well, a little bit, I guess. More, I feel like our drunk personalities know each other better than our sober personalities.
That's fair.
So this will be fun. That's kind of my favorite part about this podcast, is like I'm talking to people from nightlife who I only really know one version of, and then you kind of talk to them in a silent room with no music blasting, no alcohol, and you find out who they really are, right?
I like it.
So go ahead and let us know where do we start? Are you from Houston?
I was born in Corpus
Christi.
Yes.
Texas.
Mm-hmm.
How far is that from here?
Like 3 hours. I haven't been there since I was like 8, but I moved very quickly to Manville, Texas, which is like 45 minutes south of Houston. A little country town. And then I lived my whole teen life there. And then when I turned 18, I moved out, moved into the city, and went to U of H and started bartending when I was 18, 12 years ago now.
Yeah, because you can bartend at 18 here. In Chicago, you got to be 21.
Yeah. So not a lot of places like a bartender that can't drink. When I started... I don't
think a lot of people like a bartender that can't drink.
Exactly. This is my first job, is my favorite boss ever, like mentor-wise. It was a little sports bar in Pearland. And so I was a server. I was 18 years old. He like managed Hooters for like 10 years. And he was like, I never make bartenders, like I never move servers up to bartending when they're not 21. But I was a hustler. I come from Sonic. Like I was a Sonic girl when I was 15.
Sonic fast food restaurant, Sonic?
Oh yeah, that was my first job, Sonic.
Serving, like running food from the kitchen to the outside?
The correct term is car hop.
Car hop, yes. That's what it is.
And I remember in my interview, he literally said, when I worked at Hooters, any girl that said they came from Sonic, he hired, because it was like the pre-bartender, you know how to make drinks, you know how to take orders, you're talking to people, you're running food, you're taking payment, like you're doing all the things. And I was 15.
That's hilarious.
You're making tips, you're working your magic.
Hooters is the precursor to nightlife, like to service industry, bartending, serving in clubs or bars, high volume, like
some sort of Hooters, some derivative of Hooters, right?
Hooters, Bombshells,
something,
Twin Peaks, all those. It's all the same. But that's funny that Sonic is the precursor to that.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
And I was out there. There was like in Manville, there was my high school, an Exxon, Sonic, and that was it. Like,
Okay, so you're 18, you're going to college, you're working at a bar, moving up quickly, becoming a bartender. And what else is going on? I mean, so you obviously have Sonic to Hooters to this place, you've been serving. At any point were you like, I want to do something else, I'm working towards something else, or you're like, I fucking love the service industry, I'm staying here? Because my first experience in the service industry, I was like, wait a second, this is the greatest time of my entire life. I used to work at Butch McGuire's, which was like an old school Irish pub in Chicago, and I would tell those people like, I'm never leaving. There was like 70-year-old dudes who worked there from the 60s who still work there to that day. Sunday brunch, they did like one shift. They obviously had other
things that they were
things
doing,
of
yeah.
income, but they loved that place so much they still kept one shift a week. And I was like, that's gonna be me.
So I'm 18, 19. I'm in college. Nobody in my family went to college. I was the first and only person to graduate. And I kind of felt that's just like what I needed to do, in order to make my parents proud. My brother was very troubled, was a bad kid. And I just kind of felt like just cut my parents some slack and just like do the right thing, and I kind of went about that in just a different way. It took me 6 years to graduate, rather than four. But it gets way deeper in it before it gets on the other side of where I'm at now in the industry. So after Stadia, which was like the derivative of Hooters, whatever, I started working at the men's club. So I was 20 years old.
Serving at the men's club.
And bartending.
And bartending.
I was
Not stripping.
Not stripping. Never, to be clear, never stripped.
Did you think about it though? Because I feel like a lot of servers I see at the strip club I work at, I come back in a couple of weeks and they're on the floor taking their titties out.
So yeah, I mean, this running joke of how long have you been a waitress? 3 months. The next whatever.
Yeah.
Like I know the running joke.
It's the evolution. It's like
I never thought that. Like I was 20 years old making stupid money. I was like, why? Like the money I'm going home with, I have my clothes on. Like it would have to be so much more.
It is, isn't it? You would know better than me. I feel like you're
Okay,
probably
so I
friends
worked
with
at-
more strippers and like know how much they're making.
And let me just let me be clear too. I love strippers. I love strippers.
I
They're
also
nice ladies.
love strippers.
They're nice ladies. Like they,
Are they though?
Well, maybe not to you. In my personal experience, I was young, but I was a hustler. Okay, I was paying for school. I had a day job at the time too. I was working 5 days a week, and what I would do is I would bartend during the week and get some good regulars, some good guys that would come across the bar who would want to bring back clients or friends or whatever on Saturday nights, which Saturday nights as a server were kind of like the shit shift. It's really busy. You got, stupid young people coming in. It wasn't like during the week, whenever guys come in during the week, they're like they know what they want. They're paying for time and other things. It's more to the point and it's very calm and it's like you can take 2 tables and make what you need for the night, where Saturday was more like you had to be out there like, hustling, trying to find somebody, or you had to be good with some strippers that had clients that came in that wanted to use you as a waitress. It was kind of like a pimping system within the bartender, stripper, waitress
Server.
ratio.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, if you always use me, I'll give you 20% of what we make.
Right.
If you always, vice versa. So it was like a team, like sort of like a mafia thing, like it was, and I was 20 years old, right? So I was like eating it up. I was like, okay, what do I need to do to do this, to be here. And it just worked. I was there for 3 years. I bartended during the week, waitress on the weekends. But, that scene is fucked up. You see a lot of things.
Oh, I know. I definitely know. I never worked in a strip club before. I've never DJ'd in a strip club before coming to Houston. And the strip clubs are so much a part of Houston culture that it's completely normal to DJ in a strip club. Like in Chicago, strip clubs fucking suck. Nobody goes to the strip clubs. You can't drink at them. The ones that you can drink at, they're not allowed to take their titties out. It's just it's not
no
a
titty club. What is that?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's not a good time.
awful.
So it's like not a lot of people know that. Like, you know, people just assume like, oh, big city, you have good strip clubs, but no, it's if you're going for a strip club, you do not go to Chicago. So once I started working in the strip clubs out here, I'm like, oh, this is not the same as DJing in a nightclub.
Yeah.
As bad as DJing in a nightclub is in the world of like
What you see?
toxicity,
Yeah.
right? Like I love it. It's amazing. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it, but there is this toxic aspect to it. The strip club is tenfold. The strip club is like the basement of that toxicity of a nightclub. You know, it's like that next level down, closer to hell.
Okay, the men's club
Yeah.
is 2 doors down. Okay, because
It's the sub basement.
it's literally like you have to have a code to get in.
Yeah.
You know, so it's nice. You know, it's not the same kind of, the money isn't on the stage, the money isn't on the floor, the money is in the back rooms, the money is outside of here. You know, the money is, this is where you meet and have those exchanges. It just made me very weary of, you know, relationships and marriage and stuff. You know, I would see guys sit at the bar, you know, and I'm 20, 21, 23 years old, and like having guys that I knew, you know, that were my regulars, that, you know, I knew about their life and, you know, wife and kids. And I'm like, I'm not saying that there are some things, or sometimes you understand a situation, but there are sometimes you understand a situation, you know, like your wife hasn't fucked you in 2 years, you know, and that's why you're here in the fucking strip club, because, you know, that's how you feel. But then you'd have guys come in here that had amazing wives. They're like,
How do you know their wives?
because I would talk to them. Like, I mean, the strip club, the bar already is like a therapy session. People dump on their bartenders. Like, if you've worked at a place that is not high volume, where, you know, someone can sit on a Monday, Tuesday night and it's slow, like, people will sell their souls to you for shots, you know? Like,
Yeah.
or just hand it over freely, you know? Like, sometimes people just want someone to talk to that isn't going to say anything back. You know, I can't really say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the strip club is that place, you know? On a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night at a strip club, like a guy comes in, he had a hard day at work, you know, he just wants some girl to, even if he has to fake it, or, you know, he knows it's fake, like he just wants some energy, you know?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. He needs a little female companionship.
I think companionship is the wrong word,
You think so?
because companionship kind of implies there's like exchange, and I don't think money really counts as that.
No, but it's the exchange of energy, of touching, of like a girl is sitting on your lap, she's touching you, rather than you're at home on the couch lonely. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do know what you're
there is a little bit of like, I'm going to get something. You're going there to receive some sort of energy from these girls. Usually it's not good. It's like you know, a Band-Aid on a bullet wound kind of thing, you know? It's like temporary relief.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fix the issue.
I did see some genuine, you know what I mean? There are some guys that came in there that, you know, ultimately, if you spend a lot of time with somebody, regardless, like if you talk to somebody, you get to know them on any level, regardless of what their job is or how you met them or the circumstances, you become friends, right? On some level, like, yes, you're paying me, and yes, I'm wearing lingerie, but I saw a lot of genuine, you know, these guys would remember these girls' birthdays, and, you know, or vice versa, you know, and I'm just saying, there was some, like, you know, some light in there. Like, it was dark, but, like, you know, sometimes you'd be like, oh, that's cool, you know?
Yeah, you could find the good in any situation.
To a fault for me. For myself, to a fault. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like what you're saying is kind of like what me and Charles were talking about a little bit, where I was saying, like, being in nightlife skews your view on women. And I feel like you're kind of saying that for men as well. You're like, I've seen so many married dudes come in there, and it then makes it hard for me to trust somebody, right?
Okay, so I was 21 then. You know, I was 22. I was young, and it was just kind of like eye-opening. You know, it was just kind of like, whoa, like I hadn't seen that before. You know what I mean? I hadn't experienced these things, or, you know, had a front row seat to these things. What you and Charles hit on, I feel like, is a little unfair. This happens all the time. At least once a week, someone's like, oh, the reason why you haven't found the right guy or the right girl is because you're in the industry, or because you've been dating in the industry. And I do think that that is skewed because I'm in the industry.
Is it unfair though? I'm in the industry too, and I think
I'm a great guy. I think I'm a great girl. And like, I just don't feel like anybody is their job. Does the nightlife maybe bring on more temptation, or, you know, there's a lot of drinking involved? Maybe the spectrum is, but I don't think that that means you can't find somebody that.
It's not a done deal, like it's the end of the world, you will never ever, but I think it makes it 99% harder. I think that there is an exception to every rule that exists, but and same for women. Like I'm saying this from my experience about women, that it skews my view on them spending so much time around the type of people that come to nightclubs drunk as fuck, like doing shit, blah, blah, blah. But same for women. I think they probably look at men the same way. They're like,
no, I don't.
You don't at all?
Not at all.
You don't look at the dudes that just fuck so many girls and cheat on their girls and do all this crazy shit that happens all the time.
But that's not because of their job. I've seen DJs work crazy 9-to-5s and be, you know, at 7 different places in 3 days. I've seen bartenders with masters, or, you know, trying to build a lash business and come in. Like, I see a lot of hustlers. Like, I see a lot of people that are willing to do more. And so for me,
well, you could be a slut and a hustler. No, you know what I mean? Like, one doesn't define the other. You could be a hustler that builds an incredible business and is a great person, but you're still emotionally not. I feel like a lot of
the girls that you're talking about, or maybe that you've come into contact with, also aren't the same girls that I'm around a lot. You know, like, I don't really work at the places that are like focus on, you know, pretty girls, big boobs. You know, like, I work more chill places, so
that I think
so maybe that might be a little bit different, so
for sure.
But I do think that there's a difference between, you know, the girl that just works 2 nights a week and is pretty and mean, and then the girl that's, you know, out here working 4 jobs and, you know, also going to school or trying to do this and trying to do. I don't think she has time to be a slut. You know what I mean? It's not the same. There are different types of industry girls, you know?
For sure. Well, there's different levels, I think, is what you're getting at.
I don't know if I would say
I would call it levels.
What is the high level? Is the biggest slut the high level? Is that the?
I think, yeah. On the scale that we're speaking on, I think, yeah, the highest level would be the biggest. And I don't want to say slut. Like, I'm not trying to, like, that word is, I don't think it should be used derogatorily. Is that even a word? But like, I'm just trying to define it for the viewer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, best companion. I don't want to say slut, but because there's so much more that plays into finding the right woman or the right man. You know what I mean? Like, slut is just one small aspect of it. I think the highest level of what we're talking about is like a girl who is the least compatible with anybody, like a girl that needs to work on herself immensely before she could ever be the right companion to somebody else, or guy, vice versa, same thing.
Okay, but that might be the 21 to 24-year-old that's coming in, that's bottle service. But that's like part of growing. I feel like, you know, just because, kudos to the girl who is using the nightlife to make money versus just being the girl that just goes out when she's 22. You know what I mean? And you're just going to college, you have tons of student loans, and you're just going out every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. And kudos to the girl that's 22, that's going to school and, you know, using the nightlife and using what's fun to make money instead, you know?
Yeah.
I always thought that was, you know, if I go to a place that's super busy, I'm like, how do I work here? Like, I want to be behind the bar. Like,
Yeah.
this place is packed. I don't want to be here. Like, if it's too busy, I'm like, it gives me anxiety. I'm like,
You're uncomfortable. Same thing. I find my way to the DJ booth. Anytime I'm in a place where it's like, there's a lot of fucking people here, stop touching me, get away from me. Like,
takes a long time to get a drink.
yeah, it's no, I'm like, I'm in the booth. It's a nice bird's eye view. Usually you could see everything. There's less people. It's more comfortable. That makes it way easier for me to go out sometimes. I'm like, I know I can always just kick it in the DJ booth.
Safe space.
I feel what you're saying. You can't really just get behind the bar and be like, yeah, I'm a bartender
I'm gonna
too.
be over here.
Yeah.
I'll just stand over here in the waitress well.
Yeah.
That said no one. No.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel what you're saying, but I think what I'm trying to say, honestly, like I don't have 100% like ideas that I'm like, I'm arguing this idea to the death. Like I just have a thought that I speak on, right? Like that's kind of what this is. And I feel like you enter like that, right? You come in like that, you're young, you're like, this is fun, I can make money and have fun at the same time. What I'm saying is there's consequences to that. I feel like the longer time you spend in that space, making that money, having that fun, most people I don't even think realize that it affects you in a lot of different ways. And I think one of the effects is seeing the opposite sex as a worse species than they actually are.
I do see a lot of things, right? Like I do witness a lot of things unwarranted. Like I don't want to be, you know, front row seat to things. You do witness, but all those things are happening in regular people's lives too. People that have 9-to-5s, we just see them because people let loose when there's alcohol and music flowing and inhibitions are, you know, turned down or up, or everyone is hyped up on, you know, some sort of attention that they're either seeking or getting in the moment, you know, or that they're looking for in the night. So I do think that we do get a peek into those things, but I just promised myself I wasn't going to come on here, you know, like man hate, you know, like
Well, you don't have to man hate. I'm just like,
I just promised myself I wasn't going to be on here like,
but
every guy's a piece of shit, you know?
Well, I don't want that at all. But I just want your true feelings. I don't want what you decided that you're not going to do. You know what I mean? I don't want your precursor thoughts coming on here. I want your actual real thought so we can have a conversation. Because like, I feel like that's relatable, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult to date in the industry, whether the other person is in or out, you know, just schedules alone, you know, like I'm constantly getting out of work at 3-4 in the morning, you know, who is up at 3 or 4 in the morning? Like that sounds bad, but like, it's just like when you get off of work at 5 or 6, what do? Go have dinner, you talk, like you hang out.
Yes.
Well, I get off of work at 3 or 4 in the morning. So automatically, if you want to hang out with somebody, you want to spend time with somebody, it's at 3 or 4 in the morning. It already has this kind of context to it that's like, well, this doesn't really mean shit. It's 3 or 4 in the morning, you know, like you're only saying what's up because it's 3 or 4 in the morning and you're drunk, you know? So it kind of,
that's a struggle that we all deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, that is my rebuttal to that every time. You know, I'll hit a girl up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever, and then she's like, why do you always only hit me up now? Or like no, I'm not hanging out now. It's 2 a.m. And I'm like, well,
to be fair,
yeah, I just got off work. I mean, this is the same as if you got off work at 5 p.m. and I hit you up, you know, or you hit me up, you know, like I'm trying to
make it make sense.
Frame it for him like that. That's funny.
I'm sure coming from you sounds
it just sounds like game, right? Like, oh, he's just saying that. But you fucking said it too. So there's validity to it.
There is like there is, you know, it's not always, I'm not speaking for you in this, just to be clear, but there is some, it sucks, you know, especially whenever I'm in the bar. You know, I work 5-6 days a week in the bar. So really, yeah, by default, at some point during the week, like I'm at the bar, I'm at a bar.
Yeah.
And I work at a bunch of different places. So maybe I'm in a bunch of different areas of kind of these circles that are going on. So I'm kind of popping around a lot, but I like where I'm at right now. I feel like I'm in a good spot. I have good relationships with good people. I think that I've been doing this for a long time, and I know who is good to work for. I know who's bad to work for. I know who I want to work next to. I know who I want to be DJing. Like it's very cool to be in a place where you're like, you know, have a lot of equals, you know, and everybody kind of has their own outside thing going on, and then some weird way you guys like come together and it works and you make money and you have fun, and then, you know, we all have these, you know, personal lives too that are kind of coming together. I'm turning 30 in a month.
Yeah, are we gonna fucking paint my dick for your birthday party or
I'm
what?
not painting dicks for my birthday.
Unbelievable.
We're gonna put some context to that segment.
Yeah, I was. We were talking. Krista throws events all the time, and I was high one day thinking about an idea of, you know, like those. There's a name for them, like a
Painting
drink,
with a twist.
painting
you know?
with a twist. Yeah, where you get a bottle of wine, you drink, you paint. It's fun. There's a bunch of people, and I said that I wanted to be the model, the live model for this, and just be completely naked, like on some old school shit, because they used to do that. That's real shit, and I feel like we need to bring that back. We're missing that.
I obviously denied this idea for the celebration of my 30th birthday.
I think if you want it to be memorable, it needs to be fucking memorable.
I said this me and Irene have been throwing these kind of organic industry parties. I hate, like, someone will say, like, someone will make a little joke like, okay, little promoters, and I'm like, no, like, we're not promoters. And not to tell my promoter friends.
I feel you.
But like,
being
I do
a promoter
think
is a thing. You're like, I'm not. No, don't. put me in that box.
I don't like to be put in any boxes. But just for the sake of like what we're doing, I do feel like the reason why it works is because it's more natural and not more like, oh, every Wednesday here, or every Tuesday here, every Thursday here.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like for these important things that, you know, we want to bring people together. We've been in the industry for a long time. We've created these relationships. We kind of want to show appreciation to the people that have, you know, supported us and vice versa, you know. And we don't get to do that a lot because, well, we all work Friday, Saturday, Sundays, you know. So it's nice to kind of bring everybody together and really, especially for me, and Irene too, you know, we've worked at a lot of different places. And some of our favorite places are places we've never worked at, you know, and I think that like speaks volume. Like if your bar is like a favorite to a bartender that like doesn't work there, that like says something, right?
It might ruin it for you if you started working there, right? Or no?
Head on the nail right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't work at a place that was my favorite bar for a really, really long time. Started working there and then no longer work there anymore for, you know, peace reasons. And it's like, sometimes you got to just leave things alone, you know?
Yeah. That's how I feel about strip clubs after working in them. I used to love the strip club. Building a house on the stage, throwing money, just having fun. There's titties, this and that. Then I started working there and I'm like, oh, this is a scary place. This is a terrible place. I'm not spending my time here. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm never coming back.
Yeah, which is not true. I'll still go, but it's way less. Like I used to really love the strip club. It was like a little getaway. It was like a fun little getaway because you're not really noticing what's going on in there and understanding the whole system and everything.
Yeah, no, the strip club is completely ruined for me. I'm never going to the strip club for fun. Like, let's go to the strip club. No. But yeah, no, these events have just happened, and then now like you hear people's feedback and just like, you know, the positive things that people have to say, and it's nice that it's like more about community, you know, like
Yeah.
industry people kind of, I know this sounds kind of cliche, like coming together, you know, and really kind of like, it just used to kind of be this, oh, if you worked for here, you couldn't go here. And like, I never worked for those places, but it was very known that like, you can't support another.
You could say their names.
I would just rather not.
But you can if you want.
I'm just,
You need a shot? What do you need?
I mean, I did debate drinking for this. It's like,
Let's get a little spicy. No, I'm just kidding. You're not. I know you're not the one for that. You're too.
Yeah,
you're too nice and political.
I'm not political. I'm just nice.
Well, okay, just nice.
I just think that things unfold
feel
on
you.
themselves. But there are places that are very, you know what? I have a really positive thing. I will say this place. Man, I'm nervous.
No, you don't have to. I'm messing with you. But
No, this is a good thing. This is a good thing.
Okay.
Concrete Cowboy used to be a place, right?
yeah,
Which is now Toto Santos.
yes.
Concrete Cowboy was a place that, you know, I didn't really like going. It wasn't, and they kind of did this whole turnaround thing where the staff is just significantly nicer. Like the girls are still hot and they wear, you know, lingerie and stuff, but like the experience is just completely different than like before, where it was similar to other concepts that are very, you know, kind of snooty. Like if you weren't a baller coming in, spending 5 racks, you know, tipping $1,000, you just kind of didn't get, you know, noticed, or they didn't
Yeah.
really care about other industry people, or like if girls walked in, they just weren't very nice to them. And that just like, I think that era is dead, you know?
I was gonna say I feel like that whole entire era is gone.
It's
like
dead,
it's
yeah.
not when making people wait outside while the nightclub is still empty. Like that was a thing.
Yeah.
It is not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
If you make somebody wait outside and then they finally get in, and it's empty in there, they're never coming back.
Yeah.
Before it wouldn't matter if it was empty in there because they're like, holy shit, I got in. This place is the spot.
Yeah.
And even though there's no one in here, they let me in. That's not like a thing anymore.
Yeah.
That whole shit died.
And that's, for me, that's hard for like a place to, I mean, obviously, you know, Toto's rebranded and you know, the place is super cute, but for me, it's more about the people.
Yeah.
You know, like who you choose to like, you know, represent your brand, like obviously, you know, means a lot. And so that is over time, you know, easy to change, but in the middle, you know, it's kind of hard just to fire your whole staff and like get new because maybe you think this isn't working, or you know what I mean, or you want to. So that took a long time, and now, you know, I love going there. That's actually where we're gonna have my 30th birthday. So
Okay.
yeah,
Is this breaking new? Do we get to break that new? Have you not released that
we
information
have
yet?
not released that information.
This is
yet.
breaking.
This is breaking. We were debating. Well, Irene is planning for the most part because she wants a lot of it to be a surprise for me, but it was kind of in between a few spots. Kind of just debating on location and weather and, you know, where we want to bring people to.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we decided it's going to be at Toto's.
Okay. Nice. I had a question. I had a decent question, I felt like, and it has escaped me.
The edible,
It could be the edibles.
probably the edible.
You were talking about before I tried to get you to say something spicy. You were talking about something real, and I was gonna add to it. I forgot. It'll come back to me for sure. But let's get back to the original timeline, right?
Okay.
You leave the Hooters ish place. You're not going to school anymore.
No, I'm still in school.
You're still in school. What was like the first Washington Street place, or like what a like pop-in place that you worked?
Bell Station, baby.
Really? And you still work there, right? Sometimes?
No, I don't.
Oh,
like
okay.
I was
I thought
picking
you did.
up, you know, back there, and like I would if like they needed me. I love those guys there, you know. But yeah, Bell Station was like my. Okay. Well,
When it was super popping, because I've had Jeremy and Kaz on here, and they've both talked about before I got to Houston, Wednesday nights at Bell Station was
Oh, it was
the
stupid.
spot. Like James Harden was there, this and that. It was fucking nuts.
Okay,
And Sunday
so-
Fun Day, right?
Yeah. Stupid. Okay, wait, just to rewind just a second. I worked at St. Dane's first. That was my first high volume place, and that's where I met Irene actually.
Okay.
We both had
Where's
come
that?
from. We both worked at Stadia. She worked at the Stadia in Katy, and I worked at Stadia in Pearland. And then we came St. Dane's. If you're from Houston, you know it was a super popular college bar. Taco Tuesdays, $2 everything. Like
Where was it
shots
at?
Right there in Midtown.
In Mid-
the building is still there. It was something else. I think it closed down again. But like it was dumb. It used to be like super packed. It was like got in trouble so many times for like letting underage people in. It was like a whole thing. But that was my first like trying to figure out how to bartend high volume. And I remember working next to Irene, and we just bullshitted our way. Like we're just like, dude, make it green, make it pink. It's supposed to be blue. I don't know. Like fucking,
Yeah.
like we were just slinging drinks. Just like that's where we learned. But then yeah, Bell Station was probably my first love, my first, really bought into the brand. And like I worked, the staff there was amazing. I loved everybody who I worked with. It just worked.
And this is after Men's Club, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was Men's Club before Stadia? What's it called?
Stadia.
Stadia.
Yeah.
Men's Club was before Stadia.
No,
It
Stadia was my first one when I was 18.
Okay, and then from there you went to Men's Club, and then from Men's Club, Bell Station.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Which was great, man. Like the run there was really, really good. Like RTB. Sorry. RTB. We just had a great relationship with them, and Wednesdays were crazy and Sundays were crazy, and it was like the birth of real Sunday fun day. Like if you were going out in Houston on a Sunday, like you were at Bell Station at Aura, and honestly on Wednesdays you were at Bell Station at Aura, and that was like a different time. It was a different time.
And I think for nightlife as a whole in this entire country, what year are we talking right now? Probably like 2015, 16, maybe 14.
Yeah.
That era. Like summer 16 was the greatest era for partying that I've ever experienced. And I feel like that's over now. I feel like that's gone. It's a different time. Like what you're describing to me feels like Bottle Blonde Chicago to me.
Maybe.
It's like, and I think it was
like
around the same time.
Sunday at Bell, like at 2 p.m. Like it was 2. Like brunch wasn't even over yet. Like you could be getting waffles, and then like bottles were coming out. Like it was, and it was the first kind of hybrid bar, which I loved that about Bell. It wasn't like a typical like bottle service place. We served food. We had like there wasn't even like booths then.
Yeah.
Like this is another one of those beautiful organic things that you just like cannot recreate. It just kind of happened. It was just the right time, the right place, the right things, kind of in this shitty building, but like it was just like charismatic, and it just
it's more
worked.
about the people and the energy in there than it was about the actual space
100%.
itself. I feel that. If you get the right people together that are throwing a party and are actually enjoying it, and they all like each other, and it's like a good family unit, you can't go wrong.
Shows,
it
yeah,
doesn't
it
matter
shows.
where you're at. You could be, in a
Cardboard
dumpster.
box,
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a good time. I feel
that's
that.
what was happening there, and the roll was long. Like it hung on for a long time, for sure, longer than any other place that I've been at, for sure. But all good things come to an end.
Yeah. We say that like it's gone. The Bell Station's still here, if you're wondering, but the party has moved, and that's what happens. Like a place, something happens, someone leaves, or it gets old, or like whatever. You can't be on top forever. It's literally impossible. It's never happened in this industry, and it never will. I don't think. The party just kind of moves. Sometimes it moves areas too. Like everyone from Houston who I talk to tells me, people used to party in Midtown, and then it went over to Washington Street, and then it went to Edo or whatever. It's like the poppin' spots just kind of, they switch. You got to follow the party.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
I mean, I do think that, things change, like, spaces, but those people are still want to go to those areas. Like Midtown, was super crazy. When Gaslamp was opened, Gaslamp, Dogwood, Shot Bar, like those places used to be, insane, right? And Thursday nights, dude, that's where I met Charles. That's where I met Charles, Gaslamp, Thursday nights, like when I was working at Men's Club.
And that's in Midtown, and that's the place that got shut down for like the racist shit and all that.
So that's where I was getting at. It's like the reason why these places are like, there was a reason. Like, like it didn't just die out. It wasn't like, oh, this is boring now, or like we're over this. It was like something happened where there was like this change of, shift of management or shift of employees, or, the concept wasn't, being portrayed clearly, or whatever. But like there was things that happened, and it's interesting now to look back and like see what not to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You live and you learn.
You live and you learn. I've seen.
Do you have aspirations of opening your own bar or club?
So I say this all the time. Like, I obviously am good at what I do. I like the bar. I do. And me and Irene have, talked about stuff all the time, right? I just don't want to open a bar to get rich. I want to get rich and then open a bar.
Okay, that makes sense.
You
want to do it for the passion of it, not for the money
not
of
for
it.
the money.
The money ruins everything. I don't care what you do. If you're DJing strictly for money, you're going to want to kill yourself at the end of the night. I've
just seen a lot of the roads and the climbs, and I just right now and what I want to do, and like even just traveling, and it's funny too because I'm about to be 30, and people always say like, like when are you going to get a real job? That quote alone to me is just so funny because it's like I make fake money at my job or something, but
it is there, but there's a reason that they say that. I get the same thing. Being a DJ, I get the same thing. When are you going to get a real job? Whatever. It's kind of not a real job. I mean, you get good money.
I don't think that.
There is, but there's too much fun in it. Like
that is terrible. So because you enjoy something means it's not your job.
I mean, there's something to it. When like I get it when people say that. I don't say that to people. I don't feel that way, but I get it when people say that. You don't get it at least a little bit.
No.
I know it's like kind of offensive, so you don't want to.
It's not offensive. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, it's a little.
I live the life. I live the life exactly the way I want to live it. 100%. Like if I died tomorrow, I did all the things I wanted to do. I saw the places I wanted to see. Like I don't think that at all. I don't think that my life is traditional. I don't think I'm doing the traditional.
Yeah, but nobody. You don't want a traditional. Like what? Yeah, no, that's no good.
I mean, where I come from, every woman in my family had kids before 21, and never traveled. My mom, like none of the women in my family work. They're all caretakers, and the men in the family bring home the bacon. I don't come from where this makes sense. Like my mom doesn't get it. She's like, you can't sit still. If I tell her I'm going somewhere, she's like, why? Why do you want to go there? Why do you want to go to Egypt? Why do you want to do that? Like, just stay here. Like, she just doesn't get it.
Well, she's probably worried, right? Like, if you're going in, like my mom would be worried. She'd be like, oh, are you okay? Make sure this. She'd be looking up news articles on the internet about
I think that
Egypt.
too. She is worried, but I also think she just does not get it because she's just doing what was done before her, and they were doing what was before them, and I'm just doing something different.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think that bartending or being in the industry opens you up to meeting tons of people for doing something else. If you want to do something else,
you have to do it right. The way that you're doing it, I'm assuming you're saving a lot of your money. We make a ton of money in the industry, and if you can save a lot of it and then have along the way over the years of saving money and working in this industry, come up with a plan to then use that money for something else, I feel like, yes, that is the way to do it. That is what negates the whole get a real job thing. But if you're just in this industry spending everything that you got, living above your means, and then
But that's any job.
yeah, but
Like, I don't tell
there's
somebody
no
that works a 9 to 5 or somebody that's a teacher, I'm like, when are you going to make real money? Like,
but
nobody says that.
there's not really an expiration date on that. There's definitely an expiration date in the industry.
Yeah.
So it's that's the
So
difference.
that's the difference, is because you can be a teacher for a longer amount of time.
For your entire life,
That's fair, I guess.
right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a right and a wrong way to do anything.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So I feel very strongly about, the industry does open up a lot of opportunities for you. And if you went to school or you didn't go to school, or you're meeting way more people than anybody else. So your chances of coming across the path that you need to cross.
The networking is insane in the
Exactly.
industry.
So
for
I
sure.
feel like that's great. Yes, the money is good. You know what also is good? I can say I want to leave for 3 weeks for travel and do it in my job. I'm going to come back and my job's still going to be here.
Yeah.
I don't have to request time paid off. Like I can just say, bro, I'm not going to be here next weekend. Like, get somebody else to work the shift, you
Yeah.
know? And then when I come back, I can work more shifts. If tomorrow I wanted more money, I could just work another shift. You know what I mean? Like, there is a lot of benefits to it. And I've kind of let go of that, letting people kind of tell me or make me feel bad about, still being in the industry or still being a bartender.
You definitely shouldn't feel bad about it. That's for sure.
I don't.
You should, and nobody should, unless you're just like doing heroin under the bar and.
But you could be a corporate guy doing heroin
Sure.
at the office too. So it's like,
Yeah.
just don't
And
do
you
heroin.
should feel bad about that as
Yeah,
well.
just don't do heroin is like the, yeah.
All right. So don't do heroin.
Takeaway.
I know the question that escaped me earlier.
Okay.
It has
Returned.
found its way back.
It's returned.
For the whole throwing events thing, did you start doing that just because I'm assuming you didn't do it for money, right? Like, did you start
Yeah.
doing that because you guys were like, we could probably throw a better event than this? I'm assuming you were at somewhere and you're like, this is whack, we could probably do this better. And then it's like, that's how mine and Dolo's ideas normally came up. And then we'd be like, yeah, let's do this, or whatever.
I mean, something like that. Definitely not for the money. We've definitely not been like, oh, like, how can we capitalize on this? Like, there are benefits or perks to, doing things that you love that happen organically that in turn also make you money. Yes. But ultimately, it's kind of, I don't really think that there have been, well, you wouldn't know because you didn't come to our last party. But I don't really think there's been a
You're just
lot
gonna
of.
wreck me like that?
I'm sorry.
You just gonna wreck me like
I'm
that on
sorry.
my own show?
But what a lot of people have said, and the stuff that we've reached out is like, there's just not a lot of parties like this that are like more. I don't really know the word for it. Like friend driven, more like
Industry friendly.
it's like how you see industry night on so many flyers and stuff. I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like,
just the thing. But I feel like your actual goal is to bring the entire industry together. Like, your perfect night and throwing an event would be if every bar showed up that you invited, and it wasn't like, oh, these people didn't come because they knew that these people
Whatever,
were gonna
yeah,
be
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Like, it's like, for this night you guys can dead that shit and you can come here and we can all have fun together.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it's more about, kind of creating something fresh and has no, motive really, like we just want everyone to be cool, we want you to be able to walk into a bar, whether you're a guy or a girl, and you should be able to, feel comfortable at a place and walk in with leggings and a hoodie on, and like that's ultimately, if I ever had a bar and if I had a place, it would be that, it would be, we have to keep up this energy all the time. Like, you know this as a DJ, like you're constantly like having to provide and put off this energy in order to entertain people, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing with bartenders, you know, you're constantly having to kind of perform, you know, and be happy. And I'm the kind of person that I'm 100%er, you know, like everything I do 100%. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm going to clean these floors, like they're going to be the cleanest floors you've ever seen.
I think you should clean these floors.
Not going to happen. But
Hold
if
on,
I
let me pee real quick. I got to pee so bad.
I'm like, why are you fidgeting over there like that?
I can't hold my pee into the light.
I wonder what that means. I said, I wonder what that means. Oh.
We're back.
We're back and drained.
Yeah, we're drained out. All right, sorry. You're 100%er, and you said you're going to clean these floors when we're done.
Not cleaning the floors.
That's where we left off.
But it's kind of one of those situations where if you show up at 95%, someone's like, what's wrong?
What's wrong? You're not you.
What are you doing? What's going on? You know, like there's some sort of glitch in the matrix, you know, but other people show up at 75 all the time and nobody says anything, you know?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I know that we're asked of these things and I know what that's like. And so it's nice to kind of create a place where you don't really have to do that.
You can
know?
show up at 90%.
You can show up at 60, baby. Like, you know, like I just kind of that feel good kind of energy, you know, where it's not about, you know, who's spending the most money or like what guys come in here and do this or like what girls are, you know, wearing what, you know what I mean? It's more just about like we all do the same thing, you know? And like ultimately I feel like, you know, as much as you're saying that there's levels to things, like we're a lot the same, you know. We're all fighting similar shit and we're all dealing with similar shit. We're all doing the nightlife, day life, trying to come some sort of in between thing. So I think that it's kind of cool to create a space where none of that shit really matters.
Yes, I feel that. I also think that we are all way more alike than we
Like
choose to
think,
believe.
yeah.
And I think it's like it's that, and it's also at the same time I feel like it's like how you said your mom just does not understand your drive to go places and see things. Like I think everybody's got their thing, and a lot of times it's not relatable to another person. Like something may be bothering you and putting you at 80%, and someone else, you could tell them what it is and they're like, what? That's what's bothering you? You know what I mean? Like they don't get it.
No, yeah.
I think that it's both things at the same time.
I'm in a place right now where I'm really working on like, you know, loving people in ways that feel like love for them, you know, and like being a friend to someone. Maybe for you, maybe a friend always answers the phone, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't consider them a friend unless they always answer your phone call. But for someone else, that might not matter, you know, like
Yes.
me and Irene never talk on the phone, like ever. We never talk on the phone. We live together and we don't really see each other at home, you know. We live in a house with our dogs, but we hardly ever see each other at home. And when we're at home, we're like in our spaces, you know, but what we need from each other, you know, is different. And then there's friends that I talk to every day on the phone, you know, like that I see at work or whatever. And I'm like, after I leave somewhere, I call them and I like tell them everything that just happened. Like, you know, I just feel like just people in general have to be better about knowing that not everybody's needs are the same and not everybody's, you know, cup doesn't get filled the same.
Yes.
You know? So that's something I'm working on right now, like in general in life.
Yeah, that's dope. That's real shit.
So I hope that these, as you know, as simple and as, you know, kind of like it's just a party, you know?
Yeah.
I hope that it fills cups. You know, I hope that
You're trying to fill cups.
I'm trying to fill cups, baby. That's
I'm
it.
trying to feel cups.
Oh,
You're trying to fill
I'm trying
cups.
to
I'm
fill.
trying to feel cups. You know what I'm saying?
Both obtainable.
D cups.
Specific. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm just-
Sorry I had to ruin that with a joke. That's normally what I do when things get a little emotional.
Serious? Was that too serious? Was that too serious for
No,
the
it's
podcast?
not. There's nothing is to anything. This is supposed to be.
He was
the
like wanting me to come on here and like talk shit and fucking say some juicy stuff and I just
No, there's certain people for that. Like you were saying, you know, there's certain people for everything. You talk to her on the phone, you don't talk to her on the phone. I have you on the podcast. I don't expect you to get spicy. You know what I'm saying? I get Charles on the podcast. We expect him to get a little spicy.
it's like, you know, I did we talked about it too. I was like, man, there are just so many things that the only ones that I've listened to all the way through were Charles, Silas and Tanner, and I don't know if it was Interloop or you were just talking to Jeremy and
Just Jeremy, Dolo.
Jeremy and Dolo. Okay. I listened to those too. I just, you know, kind of random ones and there were so many things that I like heard and was just like, man, I just want a female's, you know, voice in their perspective, like somebody else that's in the industry that, you know, you guys are just out here they're all whores. They fucking lie. They're cheaters. They're out here sucking dick behind their man's back. Like y'all were just going in on the girls.
Well, I think that may have been a little more Charles than me.
Can I quote you? Can I quote you really fast?
Yeah, please.
I think you said something like you see the girls, like you see all the naughty stuff that they're doing, you know, like
They're bad girls.
they're bad girls.
sometimes.
And I just feel like that's not fair. You might be talking about the girls that are just coming in there and you see the way people interact, but like
There's two things I think happening. There's the girls that I see in there all the time who are either like industry people or just people that don't really have responsibilities, so they spend most of their time in nightlife, drinking, staying out late, doing naughty things. And then there's the girl who you don't see often, who is like the 9-to-5er, who's just coming out to let loose, and you know, Monday
the
through
worst ones.
Friday she's been at the office working hard, not drinking anything, and then on Saturday night she has, you know, 4 vodka sodas and then 1 shot of tequila puts her over the edge, and now she's blacked out sucking some dude's dick in the bathroom, you know, while she's got a man at home, and it's just it's a little scary sometimes.
but see, that's the girl who doesn't drink all the time. It's
There's-
the girls that are out here. The girl, if you're used to being in the, you know, in the shits, you know, you're not. Anytime I go out with my girls, if it's me and Irene going out and we're like, this happened a couple Sundays ago. Both of us just happened to be off for whatever reason. It was just not good, but we're going out, we're drinking, like finding a man or like trying to like find a dude, like that's like the furthest thing from our minds. We want to go see our people that we don't normally get to see, pop in, see who's DJing where, see who's bartending where, say what's up, and then tacos, like
Yeah.
You
But
know?
but yeah, you guys, I'm not necessarily like, listen, I have a big role to play in this as well. I'm saying this as somebody, I'm like, this scares me. How am I going to ever find a woman that is good and wouldn't do that? You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I'm also the dude who's hooking up with these girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and
so you have to say it, but then you're like,
it's I'm at fault myself. You know what I mean? Because like I'm involved in the shit. Like
I mean, like that's your brand, you know, like that's kind of like that's what works for you. Again, I don't think any of these things should kind of be shamed. I feel like if you're honest and I feel like you should be able to do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. I don't think a girl.
But I don't think a lot of people know what makes them really happy. I think that's the real. That's like the real.
I mean, that's
meat
a
and
way bigger
potatoes of
question.
it.
That's a real.
Well, that's kind of where it stems from, is the whole point of me saying, like, I think my view of women is skewed from spending too much time in these nightclubs, in this nightlife world, because it's mostly people that are broken. It's a lot of broken people. There's of course exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, I think the broken people outweigh the less broken people. Nobody's really normal. Nobody's really not broken, but there's a lot of people who don't understand what they're doing is not good. And they think that, you know, their happiness comes from getting their lips injected and getting 10 likes on a story post. You know what I mean? Like, that's their happiness, and that is wrong. That is 100% wrong. You cannot get real happiness from that.
No, for sure.
You know?
No, I agree. And I feel like that's too why I've kind of always stayed away from said bars. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that I think that you were in a
anywhere that alcohol is being served in high amounts and consumed in high amounts is this kind of place. People are driven to the alcohol mostly to feel better about themselves.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
Yeah, I mean, you drink when, or not everybody, but you drink when you're sad, you drink when you're happy, you drink when you're celebrating something, you drink when you lose something. Like,
I mean, me
alcoholism.
and Dolo, yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, like alcohol is a fix for a lot of people.
It's a quick fix.
Yeah.
It's a very quick fix. I mean, me and Dolo talk about it all the time on here in the aspect of DJing. Like, you could go to your gig on Friday night and, you know, walk into that DJ booth and you feel like shit. You don't want to be there. You're at 75% or whatever it is. Couple shots of tequila, you're back, baby. You're 100%. You're in there. You're ready to go.
See, this is me right here. This is the fault, right? Because I'm a good drinker. You know, I drink very well.
I say the same thing about myself all the time. I am like an athletic drinker. I can drink extremely well. I'm not going to black out. You're not going to find me dead in the middle of the street because I'm
not going to try to fight somebody.
Yeah,
I'm not
none
gonna
of that.
Yeah, I'm going to be having a good time, and I'm still going to wake up in the morning and go to the gym.
Yes.
So, but that's a fault too. You know what I mean? That sucks. You know, it's like there's no consequences.
Yeah, yeah. But there is. That's what I'm saying. For a long, like, I feel that way. I fucking feel you. Like, it's the balance, right? You can drink. I think I tweeted something like, you know, most people are drunk 51% of their time, and that's the real problem. I can stay drunk 49% of the time. You know, like, I can ride the line. I could do it really fucking well. But it's also still, it's like, it's still, it does something. It's bad. It's poison. Alcohol is poison. It is not good for you. Even if you could do it well, you're still putting bad into your body.
Yeah.
I feel I feel you on that.
Yeah, you know, too much of anything is bad.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, anywhere that alcohol is the main reason that people are there, and that's what they're doing, that's what they're there for. It's a certain type of person for the most part. For the most part, I would say like 70-30 maybe. 70-30. Like 70% of the people that are coming out and just trying to drown real life away and are affected by the consequences of it and don't understand that this is not what they should be doing, that this is not the fix that they need. Whatever they need, whatever's bringing them there to do that is something else that needs to be fixed outside of there, and it will not be fixed with alcohol.
No, for sure.
Do you agree or no? Do you think it's 70-30? What do you think?
I don't want to put percentages on it. I feel like I don't really know, but I do feel like, you know, so many people right now are doing dry January, or you know, so many of my friends are either trying to cut back or whatever, and I am so supportive of anything that is healthy for you, anything that's going to make you better, anything that you need, whether it's what I need right now or not, you know. And I support.
Yeah, but is that good?
What?
to support somebody's bad habits?
No, I'm saying if it's good for you.
Yeah.
If it's good for you, I'm going to support it.
Yeah.
So right now, everybody's like trying not to drink or like not drinking, and like I just don't think that that's the place for me right now.
Yeah.
Like it's not that I don't think that I can't not drink or that I don't want to not drink. It's just like right now where I'm at, I feel like I have a good balance of when I drink and how it makes me feel. And it's not this like, man, I have to drink tonight because XYZ, you know?
Yeah.
It's more of like, you know, I've been serving drinks all week and I want to drink, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm with my girls or I'm going to go, you know, do whatever, or I'm at dinner or, you know, I feel like I have a good relationship right now with drinking. And so that's just like not in my path. And I am like always trying to kind of find ways to be better and things. So I do feel like the easy kind of go-to route is like, oh, I'm going to stop drinking for a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's an easy, like, I'm going to stop doing this. And then like, everyone's going to be like, oh, that's good. Right?
Yeah. You're saying like doing dry January is not really doing anything for people?
No, I'm not
So
saying
you're
it's not. I'm just saying it's like
saying.
it's an easy thing that you know, like to cut out. You know what I mean? If it's like if you were trying to cut out something bad eating, it's easy to just be like, okay, I'm gonna stop eating candy. You know?
Is that easy to do though?
Stop eating candy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean,
think
like-
for me, I don't think stopping. I did sober October, and that was rough. I mean, I didn't crave alcohol as much as I really craved weed. I really wanted to get high, but alcohol is such an easy fix, and it's so easily available for fucking free for us, especially because we work in there. It's not that easy. It's really not that easy.
So you think it's easier to stop eating candy than to stop drinking?
For me, define candy like sugar, like cookies and cake, or like fucking gummies,
Sweets.
like sweets, like all sugar.
Yeah.
That would
Well,
be
like cookies,
Yeah,
cakes,
yeah.
candy.
yeah, that would be really
Ice
tough
cream.
for me. That's something I struggle with every day. I feel like I fucking
I'm sorry, dude. Did I hit a soft spot? He's like, actually.
no. I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's that easy.
Yeah, see, so that's something that I feel like I could do easily.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I could say the same for drinking.
yeah. So you could cut out sweets easily.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't be as easy to cut out drinking.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's that easy.
Maybe if I just had if it wasn't illegal to have like shrooms on you all the time and I could just like microdose shrooms and just kind of be like a little.
You like shrooms?
I
I've never
love shrooms.
done them, and I told myself I've been wanting to do them for a while. Big Joe Rogan fan, so he's a mushroom advocate, right? So I'm interested for a long time, and I told myself after I did sober October I would try mushrooms, and I haven't yet, but there's
You
gonna be a
tried-
day. I know it's coming. I'm ready.
So
I feel like it's gonna be tight.
I went to breakfast with my mom the other day and I took my friend Kaylee with me and we had this whole talk about hallucinogens and my mom was like, how do you guys know so much about this? And she's like a hippie, you know, she smokes weed, she's super chill, laid back, you know, she experimented with drugs whenever she was younger, but she just is totally out of loop with shrooms. And so now she's like so interested and wants to try them. So I just think
You
that
can get your mom some shrooms.
for sure.
I would love to give my mom some sort of drugs.
Yeah. I think that anybody that's ever had like $1 million idea or like really just like some off the wall shit for sure did mushrooms.
Yeah, well, the theory of like the stoned ape theory, right?
No.
I don't really know it that well, but it's
I'm gonna try
something
to say
along the lines of like basically primates, monkeys ate mushrooms, and that's turned them into humans essentially. Like unlock their brains, and then evolution over time, they became humans.
Wow.
That's a theory. So I could see what you're saying. It kind of aligns, right?
I mean, I just really like mushrooms, you know?
Okay.
I just don't really, I like things I have good relationship with. You know, I like drinking. I have a good relationship with drinking. I've never felt bad on shrooms. I feel like it opens up the way I would think about things. I think it ultimately puts me in a better mood. It, you know, kind of lightens things
Yeah.
in a good way. One time I did them at Disney World, and I sat in the middle of Avatar World and just like laughed so hard I cried with my friend Shelby. Yeah, it was amazing. It was
That's
great.
kind of fire. Was anyone like, "What? Are you okay? Like, why are you crying?"
No.
Or they saw you laughing?
Oh yeah, no, it was like definitely like, she's good.
Okay.
She's great. You know, like no, it wasn't weird or anything. It was just cool. I don't know. I just feel like things like that kind of just broaden your vision on things. you
Yeah,
know?
it gives you better, different perspective, new
Yeah.
perspectives.
And I don't really do like anything. I don't smoke weed like randomly if it's like, you know, like once in a blue moon, you know, if I'm can't sleep or something. Well, okay, I can't sleep like every night, but but that's just random. I don't really do anything like habitually, like drug wise, you know what I mean? I don't like smoke hookah or I
Yeah.
guess it's not drug, but you know what I mean?
Sometimes I think that affects us as well working in nightlife is the fact that we're up so late and you have to get good sleep. So you have to, if you know you're up till 4 a.m., you have to at least sleep till noon.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Is that too early or too late for you?
Too late for me.
You can get up before noon?
I haven't slept until noon in I don't know how long.
When do you normally go to bed?
Around 4.
And get
5
up
if
at-
I'm working like Friday or Saturday night because we get out later on those nights. But like, yeah, no, I'm at the gym by noon, so I'm normally up between 9 or 10.
So let's say 10. Let's say you go to bed at 4, you wake up at 10. That's 6 hours, which is not great. But if it's 6 hours of really good sleep, you're good.
So you're saying to get high before you go to sleep?
I don't think that makes it good sleep. There's arguments that getting high doesn't let you get into REM sleep.
That's what they say about alcohol, but I'm like, damn, the only way I can fall asleep fast is if I've had a few shots, and I'm like, you know?
Yeah. But you're asleep, but is it good sleep? Do you know anything about like good?
Yeah, so I struggle with sleep a lot. Like I struggle with falling asleep. I struggle with staying asleep. I take a lot of supplements. I try to like do what I can to help this scenario. Kaylee's gonna kill me on here because she is my friend that is, you know, very knowledgeable with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, Krista, do this, 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 and this, and then I'll be like, yes, I need to do that, and then I don't do it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And she's like, and then you're still not sleeping. So, but yeah, I mean, alcohol is like a huge one that is like, if you've had, and it's so funny. I send these videos all the time to my friends that anytime they're talking about like somebody who drinks, they're like, oh, someone that has 2 drinks in a night, someone that has 3 or 4 drinks in a night, or 1 shot, or a glass of wine and 2 drinks. And I'm like, what? Like, I can't even use this video for a reference because who has 2 drinks?
That's just a little snack.
Like, what the fuck? I need one that's talking about what happens when you have 10 shots. Like,
Yeah.
what's that scenario like? So already I just feel like all the information that I'm getting is just like, well, I'm fucked then, right? Like,
Yeah.
if this person can't even, you know, stay asleep for more than, I think that the math on it is like, if you've had more than 5 drinks or something, you're literally getting less than 5 minutes of like real sleep, which is just like, obviously that would mean I'm getting
Fucked.
none. Exactly.
That fucks everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. If I sleep bad, my whole next day kind of sucks.
So maybe that's where I struggle too, because I don't really, if I'm tired, I can just kind of push through it. If I'm like, you know, normally right here, this is like my midday right here where I'm like, okay, if I'm not doing anything or if I'm not like active or like, you know, like this, like engaging with somebody, then I could be kind of like, you know, like, oh, I'm kind of tired. I have to go to work now, you know?
Yeah. You're keeping
But-
yourself busy so you're not even noticing how
Exactly.
tired you are. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just kind of feeds into the night, and then, yeah.
And then the alcohol helps for sure.
Oh yeah. You have a few shots and then,
That's kind of for me like where I start to have second thoughts about alcohol. You know, I don't think like, oh, I drink too much, or when I drink, I'm getting myself into bad situations or anything like that, you know. But I do see, I catch myself being like, okay, it's Wednesday, I work tonight, I know that I can drink tonight or I'm gonna drink tonight, so it doesn't really even matter how I feel because I know that the alcohol is gonna help. You know what I'm saying?
I don't feel like that's a good way to think about it.
No, for sure it's not. That's why I'm saying, like, I catch myself thinking like that and I'm like,
Oh, well,
I gotta
once the night gets
change
going-
something.
Yeah,
Like, I
okay,
gotta
like you wanna
make
change
sure.
something, okay.
Yeah.
So this is why I feel like I don't mind drinking, because I don't think like that at all. You know what I mean? If I'm kind of irritated or something, you know, I do feel like it'll wind me down a little bit, you know, like if I'm anxious about something and I have a shot or two, like I can kind of like relax, you know, like just stop being so like wound up. But if I'm like sad or like upset about something, or if I'm like, I don't feel like myself, that does not make me want to drink. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, I'm going to show up to wherever I'm at. I'm not going to be 100%. Someone's going to be like, Krista, what's wrong? And then I'm going to, well, let me tell you. You know what I mean? Like, normally I retreat. Like, if I'm not in a good place, I'm going to go in my room, I'm going to shut the door, and I'm not going to interact with anybody.
Yeah, but what happens when you have to go to work?
I'm not going to drink. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say something right now that whenever I'm in a really bad place, it's hard for me to go to work.
So you don't?
I have not gone to work before because I just couldn't be around
Like a
people.
mental health
Yes.
day kind of thing?
Another good thing about being a bartender, you can just get someone to cover your shifts, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to go there and add value to the place, if you're going to go there and you're not going to do your job properly because you're not
Gonna be
feeling
100%.
right. Yeah, I mean, you should maybe stay home. I don't think it's bad. You're like, I'm going to say something bad.
Well, no, I didn't mean bad, but I don't know. That's a little deep for this podcast, I think. I don't know.
There's nothing's off limits here.
I don't know. But yeah, that is a thing for me, is that if I am really struggling, I will retreat. I need to like recharge my battery. And that doesn't include me like going out and like being around more energy, because ultimately I'm an empath and I like take on other people's shit. So if I got too much shit already, I'm like, no. So because I'm very good at that, and because, you know, when I am drinking, it's for a good time. You know, it's talking with my friends or
Celebratory.
yeah, it's very like, you know, Irene is in school right now, and so her schedule is insane. So we don't really get to hang out, you know, that much. We don't have a lot of like, you know, one-on-one time. So a lot of times it's between a double that we're working, you know, like I'm somewhere during the day, she's somewhere at night. We have a 3-hour break. Like, you know, let's go get some food, we get some drinks, and now we're in a good mood. We go into our night shift like recharged, you know, feeling good, in a good mood, come in, ready to sling some drinks, and it's just nice, you know. In that, maybe I just have more than one situation like that, so then it just happens where sometimes I drink a couple times a week, but I never feel like, man, I drank yesterday and like I feel like shit about it, you know. I just don't have that. I don't get hungover. I'm just like,
if you don't get hungover and you're about to be 30, that's pretty strong.
but I also don't drink like the shit y'all drink. You drink Casamigos, has so much sugar in it, dude.
I know, I've been trying to drink Espolón. But then, you know, I ask for Espolón somewhere and people are like, well, why are you drinking that shit? You know, and I'm like,
Okay,
well,
first of all, what? Espolón is the original bartender industry tequila. Like, that's what we all drank before Casamigos came in. Me personally, I actually like tequila. I really like tequila. And Casamigos does not taste like tequila.
The Repo doesn't. It's
No,
very sweet.
It's sweet. Tastes like vanilla.
That's why people like
That's why people like it, because it does not taste like tequila.
Yeah.
You don't really like tequila.
Yes.
But Espolón does taste like tequila. It's good. It's smooth. Like for me, I drink Tito's right now. Like that's what I'm on. And
Tito's clean, baby.
Tito's clean.
I used to take shots of Tito's. I should get back to that. But the problem is I like to get a bottle in the booth to give to other people more than I'm drinking it myself. So people like Casa Repo.
Listen, I've put a lot of people on Tito's. You just gotta kind of do it. People weren't taking Casamigos a couple years ago.
I don't have time to like coerce somebody into taking the
Either
shot.
you want the shot or you don't want the shot.
I'm like mixing tracks, and I got an actual job to do. So I'm like, here, open your mouth, take this. Don't ask any questions.
Casamigos is the only thing that can do that.
Yeah, at the moment, there's always like the alcohol of the time. Like when I first was bartending at the Irish pub, Jameson was like the industry standard shot in Chicago.
A lot of sugar.
Nobody
too.
drank tequila.
Yeah, tequila just became popular like is it 2022? Yeah, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jameson, Rumplemints.
Rumple's got a bunch of sugar too, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you don't need as many shots. No, I
I
always
love the math.
I mean, it's
love
it's
the
true. I'm not gonna lie. I love Rumplemints. I do. Rumplemints, a little Dr. Pepper back.
That shit grosses me out. It's got the consistency of what I would imagine sperm is.
I can. No comment, honestly.
Can you
no
contest?
comment.
Maybe?
No comment.
That was a trap. I tried to set you up right there.
Look at me. No, I feel like I just want to do what's cleanest, right? I just want to do what's lowest calorie that I can ultimately drink the most of, because I'm trying to be smart about, if I was tracking, how would this look on a paper, And Tito's just gives me a little bit more freedom.
Yeah, I feel that. I
But
feel that.
now I just like it. And then I don't get hungover, and I feel good in the morning, and I still feel like I can go about my day. When I see my friends' hangovers, I'm like, if I got hungover like that one time, I would never drink again.
Yeah, I have a friend that like throws up every time he drinks anything. He's hungover for like 3 days.
Oh my God, no. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, and I get it because he doesn't drink a lot, and then you're kind of like, come on, man, like come party, and he's like, it
I have
affects
things
him
to
way
do on
worse.
Friday.
Yeah,
It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're like, I have a whole work week left.
exactly.
My friend Lexi, we just went to Thailand for her 30th birthday. And when I tell you, man, this girl, her hangovers are like the devil reborn. Like,
Sounds terrible.
She will throw up for hours. 4 hours. Cannot function, has to sleep for 14 hours and then is dead to the world. Like calling in, she's not going into work. Like terrible. And I've never experienced that.
Yeah, I got a hangover like that one time from drinking champagne.
Oh, yeah,
And I will never, ever, ever, ever drink champagne again.
Yeah, no. It's weird how champagne is used for like celebration stuff,
Yeah.
but like it makes the most people sick. Well, like I don't really know how that. There will not be champagne at my wedding. Well, if there's ever a wedding.
Just Tito's?
And tequila, but
Tito's in champagne flute
there you go.
with an orange slice.
Classy, real classy.
I can see it now. All right. Well, I mean, this is it's been a pretty long episode actually. Normally we only do an hour, but I feel like we're having some good conversation. We're getting to know each other better. Our drinking habits.
Tonight.
Yeah.
We're out there tonight.
Yeah, I'll be at Tokyo Joe's. Where you at?
I'm at Glitter for steak night.
Nice. So go to Tokyo Joe's. No, I'm just kidding.
Come to Glitter, get a steak, then go to Tokyo.
There we go. Sorry, it's the unity. I forgot. I forgot
Already.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you guys for watching. Please do me a favor. If you could like the video, drop a little comment if you're on YouTube, share it, anything that'll help the kid out, activate the algorithm a little bit. We need to get your friends that are going to watch this to help me out. And we'll see you next time, episode 77. Thank you.